It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, March 21st. So the moon is going to be in Sagittarius all day, which definitely helps us to kind of explore different thoughts, different ideas, different emotions, different truths, different paths and directions. But this is the very first full day of being in Aries season, of being in this new astrological calendar. There's a lot of fire on fire action that we're not used to. And if we're not careful, we can burn ourselves out, burn ourselves down before we get the party started. There are 7 different aspects taking place here today. 6 of them involve the moon. The moon in Sagittarius is going to semi-square, creating a little bit of tension and conflict, with Pluto, the great transformer, who of course is in Aquarius energy. So this particular interaction is going to reveal some hidden truths to us that may take a little bit of time to learn how to swallow, so to speak. We are understanding where there's a power struggle going on within us, likely between our heart and our head, likely between our inner realm and our external world, but we're actually kind of creating more confusion than there needs to be. And we're more focused on, I'm going to say, the disappointment that many of us are going to be feeling, because many people expect for the world to change the minute that we jump into Aries season. And although there are some rapid changes in the energy, it does take a little bit of time to actually manifest in the physical form and in the external realm. And so there's a lot of fear, doubt, and insecurity kind of creeping up when we kind of realize that we don't feel like a different version of self, that we opened our eyes and everything kind of still looks the same. And because we are, I'm going to say, focused on what isn't working, focused on where we still feel trapped, focused on the power struggles that are still alive and well within us, there's going to be a little bit of a trip down the darker parts of memory lane. And of course, we have a lot to learn about ourselves in that particular point of darkness, because there's a new truth emerging about who it is that we are, what it is that we want, what we need, what we desire, and where it is that we're scared shitless on doing what we need to do in order to actually get it. The moon in Sagittarius then going to make a very uncomfortable interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger. Mars, again, in Cancer energy, and this isn't going to feel good. It's ruffling our feathers. It's putting a whole lot of ants in our pants. There's a restlessness, a frustration taking over because we want to take action. We want to make moves so bad. We want to break away from the old world, the old reality so bad. But again, when you take a look around, not a whole lot has changed in the physical realm. So there is a little bit of anger and frustration rising to the surface. And again, those emotions are great teachers for where it is that we're passionate about making change, about what it is that we actually want to do, want to pursue in our lives. So again, we have a lot to learn from the not so nice thoughts, the not so nice emotions. We have the moon in Sagittarius, then trining, which is a beautiful interaction, with Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries energy. So this is fire on fire action that helps us to see ourselves from a better lens. This is tapping into a new mood, a new attitude. This is kind of us picking ourselves up, dusting ourselves off, reminding ourselves that, again, we've done a lot of work to grow, to heal through particular pain, trauma wounds, where we're kind of preparing for this new identity, this new version of self, to take the lead and take charge. Now, just as we're feeling good about ourselves, we then have the moon in Sagittarius getting into the boxing ring, squaring off with Saturn. Saturn is the lord of karma. He rules over roles, responsibilities, system structures, foundations, willpower, and discipline. He is in Pisces energy, again, continuing to dissolve the old version of self, that belief system that the old version of self operated on, and the old structures, foundations, routines, relationships, way of living life that old version of self had built and created that, again, we're no longer in alignment with. Now, the Sag energy and the Pisces energy, they're both mutable signs, thus the square. The square is highlighting for us where we're going through growing pains. And although we're futuristically focused with the moon being in Sagittarius, Saturn is still very much anchored into dissolving the past. And so there is this disconnect because emotionally speaking, we just want to move on and move forward. But of course, we have to boss up and do the hard parts, do the the work to close the door officially for good. There is going to be a heavy weight, a little bit of a reality check, if you will. It's almost as if we get the wind knocked out of our sails, where it is that the moon in Sag has us kind of dreaming of the things to come. Saturn says, nuh-uh, you got to come back down to earth. You have to go clean up the mess on aisle 5, or else that mess is going to follow you into the new things that you're building, that you're creating. So there is a little bit of a tug of war going on, and it's going to be amplified because the moon in Sagittarius then goes ahead and makes a very uncomfortable interaction with Uranus, the great awakener, in Taurus energy. So normally, if this was a positive interaction, we would be gaining some clarity, but we're not gaining clarity, we're gaining confusion. Why? Because we just had a reality check from Saturn. We just realized where it is that, again, fixed earth energy, Taurus, that Uranus is currently sitting in, we're resisting making the changes that we know that we need to make. We're resisting detaching, disconnecting from the old world, the old realm, the old reality. We're still holding on to the past for whatever reason, even though we've outgrown it. It's no longer serving us. And so there is a lot of anxiety. There is a lot of, I'm going to call it jitteriness taking over, because again, emotionally speaking, we are projecting ourselves so far into the future, but we haven't done the work to clean up the mess of the past. We then have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, retrograde in this Aries energy, sextiling, beautiful interaction with Pluto, the great transformer, in Aquarius energy. So first of all, we have fire and air working together to create a combustion. There's going to be a fire, a spark, a flame that changes the game. Venus being, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She's retrograde. She's in the underworld with Pluto. Pluto rules over the underworld. And so she's beating herself up, breaking herself down to figure out where it is that she's having a change of heart towards herself, towards the people, places, and things that she had built her old realm and reality off of. She's having a change in identity. This is a beautiful realization on where it is that we got to get our shit together, where we have to boss up, do the hard things in order to set ourselves free. And of course, Pluto is going to reveal to us a new power, a new level of authority within ourselves to kind of boss up and do what needs to be done in order to close the door on the past for good, so that we can focus all of our time, energy, and attention on building ourselves up towards the future version of self that, again, we know we have to be in order to receive the goal, the vision, the dreams that we're currently wanting to manifest. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Sagittarius energy squaring with the North Node in Pisces. So again, Pisces and Sagittarius energy, they're both mutable signs. A square highlights the tension and the conflict that we're currently experiencing, because a square means we're going through a growing pain. That North Node in Pisces is trying to get us on the right path, trying to get us in alignment with the new karmic chapter, the new version of self, the new mission, the new purpose, the new goal. But at the same time, the Pisces energy is about what we have to wrap up, what we have to surrender to, what we have to have faith and trust in, understanding that the Pisces energy still needs to close the door on the past in order for us to have the free time, the energy, the space to start building towards the futuristic goal, vision, and dream that the moon in Sag has us very focused on. So there is this push and pull. There is this questioning as well on what we need to do and how we can do it in the fastest kind of way, which of course there are no shortcuts, there are no cheat codes here. And because of that, we're not feeling as optimistic as we once did. We're not feeling as hopeful, as wishful as we once did. And we're starting to kind of question whether or not the vision, the goal, the dream that we previously had is actually achievable. Now, again, this is just a dip in the energy while we're trying to acclimate to these new energies. So we're not going to sit in this for too long. We're not going to get too hard on ourselves because, of course, here tomorrow on the 22nd, we're going to be moving into the Capricorn energy. The moon will be shifting into Capricorn energy. We will be having the last quarter moon pop off in this Capricorn energy, and that is going to really put things into perspective for us. So although we're kind of leaving the day off on not the greatest note, it is going to give us a lot of things to think about, especially with where the gap is between where it is that we're at, where it is that we want to be, and what we actually have to do to get there.